place. Tabletop exercises are quite often misunderstood and misused, I think, as a tool. To me, it is a tool. It is a tool for testing and analysing an event and checking the plans against a range of foreseeable and realistic circumstances. One of my roles within the police service was to write and to create plans to test operations, so that if we had a policing operation planned, I would test it against a set of circumstances. And I've taken that into the private sector and use that for a lot of events, and enable organisations to test their plans and to check whether or not they are realistic and effective. The problem I have found in the private sector is that quite often organisations will write a tabletop exercise to achieve their own goals, so they will actually write it to achieve what they know they can achieve in the first place. And it is designed and set so that they know that they'll get the success. It makes them look good. My personal view is that a tabletop exercise should be something that tests your event against the extremes of problem, not ridiculous scenarios, a plane crash coming down in the middle of your event, but something which gives you a set of challenges that enables your management team, their ability to respond and the time to respond to be reasonably looked at. So I always feel that with creating a tabletop exercise, there should be the relevant decision makers at the table, that those people know their roles and their responsibilities. They have an understanding of the resources and the assets available to them, how they can be used and how long it would take to move them from one location to another or to assemble them and then deploy them, and a realistic amount of time to how to deal with a problem. If you turn around and said we had a fire in a building, and you turn around and say, okay, then a fire brigade are going to attend and they put it out, brilliant. How long will it take the fire brigade to attend? How do they get there? What's their assembly area? What's their route? What's their access? What's the impact of that fire to your event? What's the impact to your communication system, electronics, IT, etc., etc.? So when I put a plan together, a test plans, I like to consider an event and what is reasonably foreseeable, and consider then how they would respond to it. So if we take a sporting event, we'll take a football match as a simple one, and I would look at the assembly phase when people are coming into the venue, the ingress, the circulation phase, the egress phase, and the dispersal. And I would then try to put 2 or 3 scenarios into that event. So you have a football match, and it could be perhaps at the beginning of the day you'd have a traffic problem on a major arterial route, which is going to affect the ingress, particularly, let's say, away fans or teams, whatever else. Something which is going to have a realistic problem with a realistic risk. And then ask those around the table to what their responses would be in terms of their response to the problem itself, the initial response to it, and the implications of it. So it could be it's delaying a kickoff, it could be for diverting people, it could be a communications issue, whatever it may be. Then perhaps a second issue, perhaps during the ingress phase. Now this could be anything which is current. So the current phrase, for example, is on terrorism. Now, I wouldn't necessarily want to put a massive terrorist incident, but a hoax incident, a suspicious article, something that gets people to work in place. They should have plans tested in place. So again, you have a response to, we'll take a suspicious bag. You have a response to the incident. You have the implications of it. What are your considerations? What are your contingencies? And then perhaps put a latter incident. It could be for a sporting event. It could be disorder. It could be a crowd collapse. So you give a series of events which are realistic and foreseeable, which are there to test. I'll go back to my original issue about having the event organizer running their own event. or their own tabletop exercise. The problem will invariably be that they'll look to put a problem where they know they can solve it. What I tend to do is look at an event organiser's plans and look for where I can see gaps in their plans. So I'll take an event management plan, an operational order, a schedule of staffing, and then look at where I think if I put a problem at this location, if I put this scenario at this place at this time, it would cause the most difficulty. Not to prove failing, not to prove that this is not going to work, but to give that organisation the opportunity to learn from it, to adapt their current plans, hopefully for them to realise actually we have the flexibility and capability to work together. We have the capability and capacity with our resources around us to move assets, to help people, to work in partnership to resolve a problem. And if the problem then becomes such that it causes a significant issue that would cause either a failure of the event or a failure of command, what have we learned from it and what will we do next time? One of the key principles for me is if I'm going to put a scenario in place, there has to be a degree of win. So if I was to create a tabletop exercise which is absolutely going to fail, it destroys the confidence of the event organisers, the authorities and partners working alongside them. And in fact, it gives discredit to me as a trainer or facilitator because all I've done is destroyed an event. What I would prefer to do is create such a challenge that we can get our way through it and you can facilitate the group through it, but they realise we need to make some changes. Examples of where I've had identified problems was a control room and ELT location, which was everything was one little hub, all in one little cabin, and everything was being put in one little location for a very, very large event. 120,000 people attending event and a very small porter cabin, and I simply put an electrical fire in that porter cabin. And nobody considered a secondary location for a porter cabin. So when I first said you've now got a fire in this porter cabin, the response to it was easy. But what was the implications of the ELT collapsing? Initially, everybody said, we can't cope. Well, actually, you can. You've still got radios, you've still got laptops. Could you quickly relocate yourself to another location? And whilst the group were talking, they were able to look at it and go, well, actually, there's a canteen next door. We could all simply relocate to there. To which they were then, after a 15-minute window, could be up and running again as a fully functioning ELT, although with a bit of a Heath Robinson style. By doing that on the tabletop exercise, the event organiser were to reorganise their event management plans with a secondary ELT location identified. The feedback from that was such that they then realised that there's a lot of learning come out from it, very, very positive. So that 15 minutes of disorganisation in the room and disorientation of people being really confused led to significant change in their event management plan and a really positive feeling from the group that actually we can solve all these problems. That's my role in creating tabletop exercises, not to destroy, to explore and to find ways to make things better.